evening, all of you. In the last session, we understood what is inter-service communication and how to achieve that using FIAN client. In last session, we discussed about inter-service communication and FIAN client. FIAN client we will use to implement inter-service communication. FIAN client we are using to implement inter-service communication. FIAN client we are using to implement inter-service communication. Now, what is inter-service communication? In our project, if one REST API wants to communicate with another REST API, then we will call it as inter-service communication. In our project, if one REST API wants to communicate with another REST API, then we will call it as inter-service communication. When we use a FIAN client, we will give name of the service, then it will fetch the URL from the service registry. FIAN client will get service URL based on service name by communicating with service registry. So no need to hard code the URL. Okay, so that is what we have already implemented in the last session. Now, today's session I'm going to explain about load balancing, guys. Load balancing by using ribbon in microservices. Today's session, load balancing using ribbon. Load balancing using ribbon concept that we are going to talk as part of today's session. What is load balancing? Load balancing is the process of distributing the load to multiple servers. Load balancing is the process of distributing the load to multiple servers. Now, let us take a scenario. We have developed one application. That application is running inside one computer, inside one machine. We are going to install one server. Inside one machine, we are going to install one server. So this is our server. Server is used to run our application. The server is installed inside one machine. Now, in that server, we are running one application. Got it? Now, so many users are accessing our application. From different locations. So many clients are there for us. They're accessing our application continuously. That means huge traffic is coming to our application from different countries. People are accessing our application. All the user requests are going to single server. Now, we have developed one application and deployed into one server. We have developed one application and deployed into one server. Users are accessing our application. Users are sending the request to access our application. Server will receive the user request and server will process the request. Server will receive user requests and it will process those requests. Server will receive user requests and it will process those requests. Okay? Are you guys clear with this one? In any web application, if you take any web application, we are going to develop that web application and we will be deploying that web application to a server. Okay, now users are accessing our application. Users are accessing our application by sending a request. The request will be received by the server. Server will process our request. Server will process our request. Now, if 1000 requests comes at a time, if 1000 requests comes at a time, then server can manage that load. If 1000 requests comes at a time, server can manage that load. Okay, good. If 10,000 requests comes at a time, if 10k requests comes at a time, then server can manage that load. Server can manage that load. If 1 lakh requests comes at a time, then burden will be increased on the server. Because 1 lakh people are accessing our application at a time, our server should handle that. If 1 crore requests comes at a time, then our server will crash. Are you guys able to understand? The scenario here? We are running one application inside a server. People are accessing our application. So how many servers are there for our application? There is only one server available for our application. Got it? Now, 10,000 requests comes at a time, then server, if 10,000 requests comes at a time, then server can manage that load. If 1 lakh requests comes at a time, then burden will be increased on the server. If 1 crore requests comes at a time, then server will crash. If more requests comes to the, if one server handling all the incoming requests, then what are the problems? Okay. If load increased on the server, we can see below side effects. If load increased on server, then we will face below issues. If load increased on the server, then we will face below issues. Okay. What are the issues we are going to face if the load is increased on the server? Request processing may take time. Responses will be delayed for users. Server might crash. Okay. If the too much load is there on the server, request processing may take time. Responses will be delayed for the users. If responses are delaying, we will lose our business. We will lose our customers. If response is slow, if our application response is slow, then we will lose customers. If the application is slow, people will not come to our application. Okay. Now, our business will be if server not able to process requests, we will lose our business. If load increased, server might crash. If load increased on the server, then we will face below issues. Request processing may take time. Responses will be delayed for users. If our application response is slow, then we will lose customers. If server not able to process requests, we will lose our business. If load increased on server, then server might get crashed. Server will die. To overcome all these problems, we are going to use load balancing concept. To overcome all these problems, we will use load balancing concept. to overcome all these problems, we are going to use load balancing concept. The process of distributing the load to multiple servers is called as load balancing. What is load balancing? The process of distributing load to multiple servers. The process of distributing load to multiple servers is called as load balancing. The process of distributing the load to multiple servers is called as load balancing. How we are going to implement this load balancing concept? Now here, instead of deploying my application to single server, I will deploy my application to multiple servers. I will deploy my application to multiple servers. Here my application will be available. Here my application will be available. Here server 1 will be available. My application is available and server 1 is available. Now same application I will deploy into one more server. Same application I will deploy into one more server. Same application I will deploy into one more server. Server 1, server 2, server 3, server 4. Server 1 is there, server 2 is there, server 3 is there, server 4 is there. Server 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, am I deploying my application in one server or I am deploying my application in the multiple servers? Same project. Alright, now I have one project. If I run my project in single server, then what will happen? If I run my project on the single server, what will happen? All the user requests will come to one server, then burden will be increased on the server. Now, guys, let's assume a scenario. How many people will be using Facebook? Let's assume a scenario. How many people will be using a Facebook? Do you think that only one person is using Facebook? 1 lakh people using Facebook? 1 crore people using Facebook? Crores of people, millions of people are using Facebook. Millions of people are using Facebook. Do you think that Facebook application is running in one server? Do you think that Facebook application is running in one server? Do you think that Facebook application will be running in one server? No, multiple servers will be available because Facebook application having so many customers, Gmail, so many people using. So what those people will do is they will deploy. They have a project. They have developed one project. They have a WAR file. The WAR file they will deploy in multiple servers. And here they will configure a concept called load balancer. Here they have a concept called load balancer, which is also called as LBR in the real time. Are you guys getting my point? LBR. Now, all the servers are connected to LBR server. Okay, this LBR URL will be available like this: www.facebook.com. This is the URL of the LBR. Now here there are so many users are available. Users are going to access the server directly. Users are going to access the LBR. User request will come to LBR. LBR is having servers. Now what this LBR will do? End users will send the request to www.facebook.com. End users will send request to LBR server. LBR, that is www.facebook.com. LBR will distribute the user request to all the servers which are having our application. LBR server will distribute user requests to servers which are connected to LBR, our application will be running in multiple servers. Our application will be running on multiple servers, and all those servers will be connected to LBR. This is called load balancing. This is called as load balancing. If you go for single server, single point of failure. If the server is crashed, our application will be down. But here, our application is running in one server, or our application is running in multiple servers. Our application is running in one server, or our application is running in multiple servers. Here, our application is running in multiple servers. It's not a single server. Our application is running in multiple servers. Are you guys able to follow this? Our application is running in multiple servers. Is this clear, guys? Is this clear now? Okay. Now, here, all the requests are going to single server, or requests are going to multiple servers. Requests are going to single server, requests are going to multiple servers. Requests are going to single server, or requests are going to multiple servers. Requests are going to multiple server. Who will distribute the request to multiple servers? Who will distribute the request to multiple servers? LBR. If any server is failed, is our application will be stopped, or application will be running in different servers? In the real time, every project will be deployed with the load balancing concept only. In the real time, every project will be deployed with load balancing concept only. Are you guys able to follow this? Are you guys able to follow this? So now you understand what is load balancing. Now let us see here. First, I have taken one example. I have one application. That application running in one server. Multiple users are accessing our application. Burden will increase it on the server. If the burden is increased on the server, these are the problems. Request processing may take time. Responses will be delayed for users. If our application response is slow, then we will lose our customers. If server not able to process the request, we will lose our business. If load increases, then server might get crash. To overcome these problems, we will use the load balancing concept. What is the meaning of load balancing? Deploying our application into multiple servers to distribute the load. If I deploy my application in one server, all the requests will go to single server, then burden will be increased on the server, that server cannot process. To reduce burden on the server, I am using a LBR. I will take multiple servers. I will deploy my application into multiple servers. I will take multiple servers. I will deploy my application into multiple servers. All the servers will be connected to LBR. Users will send the request to LBR. LBR will distribute the load to the servers. Got it? End users will send the request to LBR. Then LBR will distribute the load to servers. Servers will process the request. Here, all the servers are having same application. All the servers are having different applications. All the servers are having same application. All the servers are having different applications. Same application. If any one server is down, in this LBR setup, note, in this LBR setup, if any one server is failed, we no need to worry. Because our application is running in other servers. Application is running in other servers. If in this LBR setup, if any one server is failed, then we no need to worry. Because our application is running in other servers. No downtime. If LBR is failed, then application will be stopped, but that is very rare scenario. Note, if LBR server is down, then application is down. It is very rare scenario. It is very rare scenario because LBR servers are very costly, very high-end systems. Very costly servers will be used for. It is very rare scenario because very high-end systems will be used for LBR setup. Very high-end computers will be used for the LBR setup. So LBR failure is a very rare scenario. If LBR is failed, then project will be stopped. There is no option. If LBR is failed, then project will be stopped. There is no option. We cannot do anything. That's why for LBR, they will invest lakhs of rupees, 10 lakhs rupees computer, 20 lakhs rupees computers they are going to purchase. Very high-end systems they will purchase for the LBRs. Very high-end systems they will purchase for the LBR because the complete project incoming request will be managed by the LBR only. If LBR is down, then application is down. If the LBR is down, then the application is down. Are you clear with my point? What is load balancing? The process of distributing load to multiple servers is called as load balancing. The process of distributing the load to multiple servers is called as load balancing. Here we have purchased for servers. Our application is running in the 4 servers. All the 4 servers are connected to LBR. Whenever user sends a request, that request will go to LBR. LBR will distribute the load to multiple servers. Got my point? If any one server is failed, suppose for example server 1 is failed. If server 1 is failed, do we need to bother about our application? If server 1 is failed, do we need to bother about our application? If server 1 is failed, we no need to bother about our application. If server 1 is failed, we no need to bother about our application because our application running in other 3 servers. Requests will go to other 3 servers. Okay. Suppose for example, if LBR is failed, if the LBR is failed, then what is the problem? If the LBR is failed, come on guys, then whole system will be down. But LBR failure is common or LBR failure is a rare scenario? LBR failure is common or LBR failure is a rare scenario? LBR failure is a rare scenario. Because in the companies, people will use very high-end, very high-end systems will be used for this. Got my point? Very high-end. You got my point? Got my point? Very good. Guys, today I am closing the session a little bit early because in order to show you, I will implement this load balancing practically. I need half an hour time to implement this load balancing. So today actually I am traveling to my hometown. I have a bus at 11 o'clock. So if I take this session to implement the LBR, I may miss my bus now. So I will take it tomorrow or day after tomorrow. So I'm not sure tomorrow I can take the session or not. I will update you in the Telegram. Regarding the tomorrow session. I will update you that. Okay. So by tomorrow evening, I will update that. Sure, guys. Thank you. I will give all these 4 microservices we have developed as of now. I will give you